It's time for Bible Basics. Professor Peter Sibilio is in studio, and we'd love to have him here. Peter, how are you?
I am skeptical. Call me a skeptic.
Skeptic, huh? Skeptical?
I mean, here it is. Hammock Day, Leisure Day, New York State admitted to the Union Day. And Dave is not here. I don't know. Maybe it's because, like we were saying, whenever students say, "Oh, the internet is down," you know.
Oh yeah. I couldn't get my assignment finished.
Well, it's true. It's true what we were saying. Dogs no longer eat homework. You know, they're on a homework-free diet now.
Right,
It's while the internet was down, I couldn't do anything.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, internet is the new excuse.
And you know, if you just think about it, like with our cell phones and stuff, and this is older people, myself included, you know, we grew up half our lives without any cell phone whatsoever. Yeah. And now, you know, we're halfway to where we're going. We forgot our cell phone, slam on the brakes, race back home, run in the house. Oh, there it is. Thank God. You know? It's like we lived half our lives without these things. But I told, you know, being from New York State, of course,
that's right.
Big thing. And summer, it's always funny. New York, upstate New York in the summer is just gorgeous. The lakes, the temperature, they complain. Like when I visited and we were at 103, you know, so many people came up to me and said, "Could you believe yesterday? Oh, it was sweating through that 84-degree day, boy. I'm just telling you, as soon as it gets above 82. On the other hand, you know, it's negative 20 for 3 months of the year up there. I'll shovel it, you know.
All relative, isn't it?
Yep. Hey, got up to 56 degrees. That's a heat wave, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, you know, just so much to do. I'm only partly kidding that I'm so far behind. We didn't even get through last Sunday's readings last week.
That's right, yeah.
And especially with our second readings, we remember that our Gospels have been coming from Matthew 13, his sort of seed parable passages all kind of come in Matthew 13. And you get the feeling he kind of reads Mark 4 and gives you his version in chapter 13. But we're also coming to that kind of high point in Romans. We've been reading chapter 7 and now chapter 8 in Romans, where unlike what we used to think, well, Romans, you know, it's all about justification by faith. And finally, scholars started asking, well, what happens after chapter 3? In this 16-chapter letter, you know, and really what we see in chapters 1 through 8 is kind of the triumph of God that, of course, God shares with us. We begin with two groups, Jewish folks, Gentile folks. They don't like each other, and that's pretty much everybody, right?
Yeah.
Jewish folks,
one
Gentile
camp or
folks.
Another.
That's it. It's kind of like, you know, my big fake Greek wedding. Two groups of people, Greek and everybody else who wish they were Greek.
Yeah,
that's
right,
certainly a Jewish attitude that Paul is reflecting. But he said, these non-Jewish folks don't even have the Torah. They're completely lost. And he just gives you worse than the song about the Grinch. You know, all the terrible things, the rotten toadstool sandwich. You know, he just harshes on them like crazy. But then he turns around and says, how about those of us who are Jewish? We had the answers to the final exam, and we blew it anyway. So you're thinking, well, is everyone lost? And Paul says, nope, everyone is not lost, because God creates a third group. And that's kind of the drama of the first 8 chapters of Romans. He'll go on and talk about probably some issues that are coming up in the church in Rome. And you get a lot of reprise of his Corinthian correspondence because he writes to Rome while dealing with problems in Corinth and getting news about Rome from Corinth because there was a lot of congress both between Corinth and Ephesus and Corinth and Rome. And so you really get some Corinthian learning in Romans. And finally, by the time he gets to chapter 8, when he writes to Rome, he's like, this is the triumph of God. We are now this new third group. Jews and Gentiles who have the Holy Spirit. And so we've been kind of hearing about that in that second reading that we sometimes don't pay attention to, right?
Yeah.
It's like I remember the first reading, we're doing Matthew's seeds and time to get out the money for the collection.
Right.
And we believe in the that sort of thing. But that is a drama unfolding.
That sure is.
Last Sunday, this Sunday for us. And it really is the triumph of God, the drama of our salvation, and the triumph that God shares with us. A lot going on, and like you said, Mary Magdalene today, right? We get right in between. We get the Feast of Mary Magdalene. We don't hear that much about her. We hear about her a little bit in Luke, the woman from whom Jesus cast 7 demons, probably the sinful woman, and then her amazing appearance at the end of John's Gospel. The rumor that she was a prostitute wasn't, in fact, current until about AD 600. It's not entirely impossible. It's not at all biblical. We do know that Magdala means from the great city. Gedolah, she may have been from there. They fell on hard times. And so she was probably a woman forced into poverty. And that may have been the opportunity for the demons to claim her. And yet Jesus, cutting through all of that, heals her. And unlike so many other people in the Gospels, she honestly seems changed in heart. Right? The miracle really takes root inside first. And sometimes people will compare her to the man who is healed of his blindness and follows Jesus on the way. Well, she's kind of the feminine counterpart to that, and she becomes the apostle to the apostles.
She sure does.
Absolutely. And so we have all of that going on. And let me do this. Just a preview for our Sunday upcoming dramatic reading that we're going to get to enjoy, the reading about the wisdom of Solomon coming up in 1 Kings this Sunday. And of course, it's almost as if our psalm, which praises the Lord for his commandments, knows what's happening to Solomon. He is the wisest of all men, but in a few chapters, his heart turns to foreign gods. And so we see that even wisdom is not enough if we don't set our heart on God. And it's kind of this extended parable about we could be the wisest of people, but it's all about setting our heart on God. And of course, that's what makes the Jewish people, at least some of them, like Mary Magdalene, like Mary, Jesus' mother, open to wisdom come in the flesh in the person of Jesus, the Messiah. And so we get all of that in 1 Kings. That's our psalm. And then right back to Romans. Romans 8, where we hear it's all about us now. We've been talking about God, but every time we talk about God, God puts the spotlight on us, we who were destined for this mission, destined for this place, and we are glorified. And I think that context is really important because sometimes, we'll say, oh, Paul's talking about predestination. No, he's talking about our place in God's plan and the glory that the risen Lord bestows upon the church that he did then and that he does with us today.
Wow. What an adventure story.
It really is.
No matter where you turn in the Bible. And especially, there's nothing ordinary about ordinary time, right? And I know we're in the 16th week. We're coming up on the 17th.
Coming up on 17.
But the readings are nothing ordinary.
No, and I went to see the Odyssey last night. And we're always in that journey. We're always in that journey in our scriptures, in our life, and the two just come together this very morning.
The Bible Basics, great lessons, and boy, a lot of food for thought there. Professor Peter Sibilio, thank you so much.
Didn't even get to the yeast in Matthew.
Maybe we're on vacation next week. Maybe the week after.
Maybe.